You, Eric Jones, and Ryan Blaney are the only drivers.
Wow, good stuff, Eric Jones. Career win #1 for William Byron. Bell is a short track ace. His 4th win of 2019 is going to come at Iowa Speedway.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., by far NASCAR's most popular driver during his time in the sport, has talked about his return to the sport, the charter agreement problem, and more in a recent interview. Let's dissect what Earnhardt had to say. In recent times, Dale mentioned about the possibility of quitting, which of course saddened fans. But luckily for us all, that time is not here yet, as Earnhardt Jr. is planning on racing multiple times a season for a long time to come. I want to run my late model for a really long time. I imagine when I get to around 60, I'll be probably considering that that's probably too old to be out there battling with some of these younger guys. So I've got about a 10-year runway to do everything I want to do with my late model, the Xfinity car. Every year I say that, personally, but I don't really share this publicly. But every year, I pretty much feel like it could be my last. I'm going into this race at Bristol this year knowing that it might be the last one I run. There's nothing that really makes that decision. It's just last year was a lot of fun, led some laps. But it is a big commitment. I just logged in the calendar, the sim that I'm going to be doing to try to prepare for that. And we do a lot of promotion around the partnership with Hellmann's around that race. And so it's not just show up and race and, oh man, that was great. We'll do it again next year. There's a lot of work that goes into it months ahead of time. But as long as we're running good like we did, we ran so much better than I thought we would at Bristol last year. And as long as that's happening, I think I'll always want to keep coming back. When you go out there and you know the car is good and you just aren't able to produce the result, then it's probably time to let somebody else try it. What's your thoughts on that? Happy to see Dale keep on racing? Dale Earnhardt Jr. also had some intriguing ideas on Jim France's comments on permanent NASCAR charter agreements. Earnhardt reacted to the NASCAR CEO's statement that the organization cannot grant permanent charters on the Dale Jr. Download podcast by saying, "We can only support you as long as we are being supported," according to Ryan McGee of ESPN. I see Jim's point, and I hope that the teams can move forward and agree, but I also think that there will be other opportunities down the road to bring that argument back up, Earnhardt stated. The teams are always going to want to make the charters permanent. If I owned the charter, I would certainly be telling you right now that I want my charter to be permanent. When the deal get renegotiated down the road, however long this one new agreement will be, the teams will have a chance to argue this again. It's now like the end of the road in terms of this conversation making the charters forever. It just might not happen this round in terms of the new charter agreement. Earnhardt also stated that his favorite NASCAR was when Bill France Jr. and his father oversaw things. They were so clever in how they would negotiate with the teams and how they would help the teams understand their position, Earnhardt stated. Dale Earnhardt Jr. provides further comments on the charter deal. Ryan McGee says as much. Hypothetically, he can hear Bill France Jr. telling the teams, "We took something that you said was worth nothing and made it worth something." Jim is basically saying this is a far a we can go. They can't build this bridge to nowhere because there's no guarantee that the media rights will always be this lucrative and that the TV deals will last forever. There's no roadmap in front of us that says this is where we're headed in terms of how people will consume our races. Charters in the present concept are not permanent franchises, as they are in other professional sports leagues. Teams can lose their charters if they perform poorly on the track or do not field cars on a continuous basis. Race teams claim that not having permanent charters makes it more difficult to recruit outside investors and invest in their operations. If you had permanent charters, then you could create a revenue stream, either with new investors or different types of sponsorships, that would subsidize that type of variance between ownership and the league, NBA star and 23XI Racing co-owner Michael Jordan told the New York Times. That's a big miss right there. If you don't correct that, this sport's going to die. Not because of the competition aspect, but because economically it doesn't make sense for any business people. It will be interesting to see what NASCAR will do with its charter agreement. According to early reports, NASCAR has been making some very bad offers to the teams, resulting in disappointment from the teams. What are your thoughts on the ongoing charter agreement talks? Will the teams be able to reach an agreement with NASCAR, or are they doomed? Next to all this, Earnhardt Jr. also took some time to talk about the upcoming race in Iowa.
Chase Briscoe down to the inside, pulls along the side of the 20 car. At the line, it's going to be Briscoe leading that lap. Can he hold the lead going into the corner?
And as Cup is racing in Iowa for the first time, the short track package has proven a challenge. While there is a lot of anticipation for what the racing will be like at Iowa, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is concerned. The track was partially repaved earlier this year, with the entrances and exits of turns 2 and 4 receiving a fresh layer of asphalt. Earnhardt stated on his Dale Jr. Download podcast that the partial resurfacing will encourage drivers to stay on the new pavement as long as possible while avoiding the previous surface. I'm a little bit worried about Iowa, as we saw with the photos and images from the tire test, Earnhardt said. They paved parts of the racetrack, and unfortunately, you're never ever going to want to get out of that new pavement. So, wherever they put new pavement is where the cars are going to go. I know this track was extremely rough, and it was the very reason why I never went there in the Xfinity series, was because of listening to my drivers talk about how bad the bumps were, especially getting down into turn 1. They probably had to fix the track, but why they didn't pave the whole track is interesting. So, I'm not sure what kind of race it'll be, a good one or not, when we actually go there for real. Earnhardt highlighted how a partial repavement at Pocono Raceway affected the race there, something we may see at Iowa next Sunday. In 3 and 4, they paved the middle, but that's where you're going to run, Earnhardt said. It's going to be so much better that you won't not want to run there, and nobody would go outside that groove for any reason. It's going to tear your tires up, be more abrasive on the tire. So, you're going to have a faster car, more grip and better tire life to stay in the new asphalt. When we paved the grip strip at the top of Pocono, you had to run up there. After several years, you could make that bottom work to try to make a pass. But the grip strip is what it was called at Pocono in the top of turn 3, and you had to be on it to have any chance at a lap. It was like a half of second faster. So, I hate to use the word trouble, but I'm concerned about that. After all, Dale seems to be a fan of the short package and is looking forward to seeing the cars on track this weekend, especially since it's new. I think we're learning a lot. I've been very critical of the short track package on my own content, Dirty Mo Media, the Dale Jr. Download. And fans have been critical, and everybody wants NASCAR to get it right, and everybody's got a different opinion, myself included. It's the car, it's this, it's that, and the other. But I think where we've kind of landed, at least it seems at the moment, is that we can certainly learn a lot by messing with a tire, and Goodyear seems to be willing to be a bit aggressive with the tire. We didn't get the desired result that we were looking for, with the softer tire, at the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. We didn't get that desired result with the different tire combinations, but they did learn from it. I don't think the tracks are broken, and I don't really necessarily believe the car is broken. They've tried everything with this car. They've stripped the downforce away. They've done all the things they can do at the test. The drivers feel nothing when they're making these changes, so I'm not 100% sold that the car is the problem. How are you approaching the upcoming race? Are you excited to see the Cup Series in Iowa, or are you concerned about the track? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.